at our offices. This measure is designed to streamline our processes, reduce transaction times, and ensure a safer, more secure way of completing bookings. With global aviation practices that embrace digital payment solutions, we encourage all customers to prepare for this change by making use of the available electronic payment facilities. Our sales and airport staff will be available to guide and assist customers during this transition. For further assistance, please contact our customer service team via customerrelations@malawianairlines.com or call our support line. We remain committed to serving you with dignity, efficiency, and care as we embrace this new chapter. This announcement is brought to you by Malawi Airlines Management.
Malawi Airlines, from the warm heart of Africa.
It's time for news on Luntha Television, and you are with me, Adams Mwenelpembe. First, let's have a look at the top stories.
Pope Leo XIV encourages ecumenical movement to proclaim Christ and build a new world of peace and unity. Good governance expert calls for depoliticization of national events after Kamuzu Day chaos in Lilongwe. Concerned citizens cite lower inflation, maize prices as signs of economic recovery. And in our exclusive report this week, Fathers Chizombe reports on a wave of mob justice in Chikwawa and in Sanje that has left at least 8 people dead amid spreading misinformation over alleged disappearances of male private parts.
We do have the details to these and many other stories. Stay tuned. Pope Leo XIV has called on Christians around the world to boldly share the gospel and work together in building a new world marked by peace and unity, stressing that the good news of Jesus Christ is not something to be kept in silence but proclaimed with joy and conviction. In a video message marking the beginning of the ecumenical global prayer movement, Thy Kingdom Come, the Holy Father assured participants of his spiritual closeness and encouraged them in their mission of prayer and evangelization from Ascension Thursday to Pentecost Sunday. We have a Vatican News report read by Charity Chilanga.
Dear brothers and sisters, I'm pleased to greet all of you taking part in this year's Thy Kingdom Come ecumenical prayer event and to assure you of my spiritual closeness.
The Thy Kingdom Come movement, which began in 2016, now involves more than 1 million Christians across nearly 90% of the world's nations and about 85 Christian denominations. Pope Leo reflected on the prayer, Come Emmanuel, saying Christians continue to ask God to be close and to heal what is broken in the world and in human hearts. He said God is not distant but is drawn near in Jesus Christ and remains present through the Holy Spirit living in the church and sustaining believers. The Holy Father added that the resurrection of Christ is proclaimed in the church's Easter joy, noting that Jesus did not leave his followers as orphans, but remains God with us. Encouraging participation in the prayer initiative, Pope Leo said the gospel must be shared through both words and acts of charity so that others may encounter God's saving love. He concluded by recalling that Christians, though many, are one in Christ and can help give life to a new world of peace and unity.
Good governance expert Dr. George Chaima has urged government and political parties in the country not to monopolize national events for political interest, following chaos that erupted during this year's Kamuzu Day commemorations in Lilongwe. Chaima made the remarks after police fired tear gas to disperse former President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and Malawi Congress Party supporters at the Kamuzu Mausoleum. Emmanuel Chocha reports.
Every year, Malawians commemorate Kamuzu Day as a public holiday in honor of Malawi's founding president, Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda. However, this year commemorations were marred by confusion and political tension after separate events were organized by the government and the Malawi Congress Party MCP. The situation escalated when the police fired tear gas to disperse former President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and MCP supporters who wanted to raid royalty at the Kamuzu Mausoleum. Speaking in an interview, good governance expert Dr. George Chaima condemned both the government and the MCP for organizing separate commemoration, saying the national events should unite citizens regardless of political affiliation. Chaima also criticized the Malawi Police Service for using tear gas during the event.
First thing, I need to condemn any amount and type of violence that is perpetrated, because violence has got no room in a democratic society, because democracies are peaceful. People who follow democracy, they cannot resort to committing crimes. They cannot resort to any amount of violence. So I need to condemn that. And the condemnation comes in without pointing fingers to who exactly, but we are saying any amount of violence is condemned in a democratic country.
Security experts Dr. Sherifi Kaisi also condemned the incident, describing it as a professional failure by the Malawi Police Service. Kaisi said the use of tear gas against unarmed citizens was unjustified and unfortunate during a national event meant to promote unity.
First thing, I need to condemn any amount and type of violence that is perpetrated, because violence has got no room in a democratic society, because democracies are peaceful. People who follow democracy, they cannot resort to committing crimes. They cannot resort to any amount of violence.
Meanwhile, UTM party president Dr. Dalitso Kabambe, through the party's spokesperson Felix Njawala, also condemned the developments, saying Kamuzu Day should unite Malawians rather than divide along political lines.
Well, it is, I can say the content is to plead with the political party leaders to understand that as a nation, we need to unite whenever we are celebrating a national event. Kamuzu Day is a day that must be celebrated by all Malawians, regardless of their political affiliation. What happened yesterday is very unfortunate, because we cannot have two celebrations in a day.
Stakeholders are now calling for political tolerance and cooperation among leaders to ensure national commemoration, preserve unity, peace, national identity among Malawians. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chiwocha.
Minister of Defense Feston Kaupa has described the launch of the Malawi Bureau of Standards Management Information System as a major step towards Malawi's digital transformation agenda aimed at improving efficiency, promoting trade and attracting investment. The Minister of Defense was speaking in Lilongwe during the launch of the Malawi Bureau of Standards Management Information System under the theme of Digitalizing to Serve You Better. MBS MIS goes live. More in our report, filed by Gift Kalonga.
Kaupa said the government is committed to ensuring that ministries, departments and agencies embrace digital systems to improve operations and service delivery across the country. He added that digitalization of MBS operations will help promote trade, attract investment and create employment opportunities by improving efficiency in the business sector.
In today's business world, we say you either digitalize or you get lost. So as a Malawi economy, certainly we don't want to get lost. Professor Thapeta Mutharika doesn't want this economy to get lost. Hence, the digitalization of the Malawi Bureau of Standards operations is one step forward as expected by His Excellency, the President of this Republic. Digitalization of MBS operations is creating a conducive business environment which will attract investors, promote businesses, end result is job creation.
The Director General of Malawi Bureau of Standards, Simon Mandala, said the new management information system will improve transparency, reduce delays in service delivery, and allow clients to track their applications and laboratory results online without physically visiting MBS offices.
The launch of the MBS Management Information System means a lot. We have stakeholders, for example, the business community, who have had issues with the Malawi Bureau of Standards in terms of the time it takes for them to get their test results, the time it takes for them to be certified, but also to follow up and know what is going on. So with this system, it enables the business community, the industry, to access all this information right from their offices or from using their smartphones.
Southern Africa Trade and Connectivity Project Manager Hastings Ngoma said the Southern Africa Trade and Connectivity Project, funded by the World Bank, is supporting Malawi's transition from manual systems to digital platforms aimed at improving efficiency, trade facilitation, and service delivery across government institutions.
This project, its aim is to want to foster trade and connectivity. So in general, this project has two components. We have infrastructure and an infrastructure part of it. In terms of infrastructure, we need to rehabilitate the Luntha Tv road, of which all the procurement process has been concluded. And also the infrastructure, we have a total of 18, if not 14, MDS that are implementing this project.
The MIS system was developed by Ideas Corporation Limited and was supported by Malawi government through Ministry of Information with funding from World Bank. Meanwhile, the system will help in reducing delays in service delivery by allowing real-time tracking of applications and laboratory processes, improving transparency and efficiency in operations in MBS. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
Concerned Citizens leader Mavuto Bamusi says Malawi's economy is beginning to show signs of recovery, citing reduced inflation, lower maize prices, and government austerity measures as indicators of improving economic management. Bamusi made the remarks today during a press briefing in Luntha, organized by the Concerned Citizens under the People Power Movement banner, where the group analyzed the country's current economic direction. More in this report, filed by Judith Ogan and read in our studios by Patrick Pupa.
In his remarks, Bamusi said civil society groups are gaining confidence in the country's economic leadership, noting that inflation, which once reached nearly 40% between 2023 and 2024, has started to ease. He also pointed to a reduction in maize prices from nearly 100,000 kwacha per 50 kilogram bag in previous years to between 20,000 and 35,000 in some markets, describing it as a positive development for ordinary Malawians.
Today, we join hands with the so-called concerned citizens under the People Power Movement and other civil society leaders that gathered to analyze the direction that the Malawi economy is taking. So one conclusion that we are arriving at is that the Malawi economy is generating confidence, and that as civil societies we are developing confidence in the economic leadership of this country.
Bamusi, however, urged the government under President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika to intensify the fight against corruption, warning that continued cartel influence and public sector corruption could undermine economic recovery efforts.
Minister of Labour, Skills and Innovation, Joel Chigona, says the proposed overhaul of Malawi's Technical, Entrepreneurial and Vocational Education and Training (TVET) curriculum is aimed at ensuring skills development keeps pace with a fast-changing technology-driven labour market. Addressing the media in Lilongwe today, Chigona explained that the reforms are intended to produce workforce that is innovative, adaptable, digitally skilled, and highly productive in line with the goals of Malawi 2063 and the National Economic Recovery Plan. Bridget Manoga has more in this report.
Chigona emphasized that as industries continue to evolve and production systems become increasingly technology-driven, there is growing demand for a workforce that can compete both locally and globally. He added that the reforms will help bridge the gap between training institutions and industry, ultimately improving employability among graduates and boosting productivity across key sectors of the country.
Upgrading the curriculum virtue for TVET, the curriculum, I can call it a syllabus, whereby we want to upgrade the skills and the requirement that are there, that will upgrade and meet the demand of the industry.
Executive Director for the Technical, Entrepreneurial and Vocational Education and Training Authority TVETA, Elwin Chiwembu Sijola, said the curriculum reform will be transformative for Malawi's education and skills development landscape.
What basically we want to do is to look at the curriculum that is being delivered in the technical colleges, talk to the industry, hear where there are gaps in terms of the skills they want today and the future skills that they might need, so that our curriculum should reflect that.
The curriculum review, which will run from May 2026 to April 2027, is aligned with international and regional education frameworks and is based on competence-based education and training principles. It will cover key sectors such as agriculture, construction, engineering, tourism and hospitality, mining, manufacturing, and ICT, among others. Areas of focus include job profiles, competence standards, training materials, teaching methodologies, instructor capacity, and quality assurance systems. Government has since established a National Curriculum Review Committee comprising key stakeholders to guide the process and ensure it is inclusive, transparent, and responsive to industry needs. Bridget Mwanoka, Luntha News.
You are watching news on Luntha Television, and now a reminder of the top stories.
Pope Leo XIV encourages ecumenical movement to proclaim Christ and build a new world of peace and unity. Good governance expert calls for depoliticization of national events after Kamuzu Day chaos in Lilongwe. Concerned citizens cite lower inflation, maize prices as signs of economic recovery. And in our exclusive report this week, Fathers Chizombe reports on a wave of mob justice in Chikwawa and in Sanje that has left at least 8 people dead amid spreading misinformation over alleged disappearances of male private parts.
Welcome back. The Malawi Health Equity Network has warned that the Rift Valley fever outbreak in Chiladzulu is not only a health emergency but also a growing economic threat, calling for urgent social cash transfers and support for families likely to lose income and food sources due to restrictions on sick animals. Speaking in an interview with Luntha Television, Malawi Health Equity Network, Executive Director George Chobe said communities affected by the outbreak risk falling into deep hardship as families may no longer be able to sell, slaughter, or benefit from infected livestock. Constance Kantemeni reports.
Jobe commended the Ministry of Health and Sanitation for quickly informing the nation about the outbreak, saying area communication and preventive guidance are critical in controlling the spread of the disease and reducing panic among communities. He, however, stressed that more awareness campaigns in local languages are needed to fight misinformation and rumors, warning that fear and false information could worsen the situation if communities are left without proper guidance.
Rift Valley fever is a serious viral disease and it affects both animals and humans. It can cause severe illness and also can lead to loss of livelihoods, like when people lose their animals, that's loss of money. And if information is not well handled, it can cause public anxiety because people can create some information, misinformation, and rumors.
Meanwhile, Mehin has appealed to the public to strictly follow preventive measures, including avoiding contact with sick animals, reporting animal deaths, preventing mosquito bites, and seeking area medical attention after developing symptoms. Rift Valley fever is a mosquito-borne viral disease that mainly affects livestock such as cattle, goats, and sheep, but can also spread to humans through infected animals or mosquito bites, sometimes leading to severe illness and economic losses for affected communities.
Agriculture experts in the country say the Farm Input Subsidy Program FISIP remains an important government initiative, but it requires proper management and monitoring to achieve its intended purpose. The remarks come at a time when some people are calling on the government to abolish the program and redirect the funds to other key sectors, arguing that many beneficiaries sell the farm inputs instead of using them for production. Alison Banda has more on this report.
Agriculture expert Tamani Nkhonomvula says despite challenges surrounding the program, FISIP continues to play a crucial role in supporting vulnerable farmers and improving food security. Mvula said the problem is not the program itself, but weak implementation, poor beneficiary selection, and limited follow-up on how the inputs are being used.
So in that regard, we need to make sure that government needs to come in to support them in as far as the accessing to these inputs are concerned. So that's where the subsidies are needed, because the primary production, you go anywhere in the world, you find that the primary production is subsidized by government because of the multiplier effect in terms of whether there is food or there is no food. The cost of there being no food is much, much higher than subsidizing production. So it will be much prudent.
Concurring with Tamani Nkhonomvula, another agriculture expert, Leonard Chimwaza, urged authorities to strengthen monitoring systems and ensure only deserving farmers benefit from the subsidy program.
Malawi government has been implementing subsidy programs, irrespective of the changes in the names. We have not seen any tangible impact on the beneficiaries. Every year, even those beneficiaries are fond of being food insecure. So from the terraces, what we can say is that it is so because of the system failure. We cannot say that it is government failing the system or the beneficiaries failing the system, but it's something to do with the design and implementation of the subsidy programs.
In his remarks, one of the farmers from Zimba district, John Mkandawire, says government is doing well with the initiative, but authorities often fail to target the rightful beneficiaries due to corruption and lack of proper civic education among recipients.
The government is doing much better to help those to help us who are suffering for these inputs like fertilizer and the cheap seeds for planting. The problem is that other people, they don't think nicely. Those things they are selling it. The government is doing much effort to help the people, but the people themselves, they are not using the things necessary. They are just misusing the things. So many people are just selling the fertilizer.
The settlements highlights the growing debate surrounding the future of FISIP, with stakeholders agreeing that while government remains vital for vulnerable farmers and national food security, and proper implementation are needed to ensure the benefits of the intended recipients.
At least 8 people have been killed in a wave of mob violence in the Lower Shire as communities in Chikwawa and Nsanje turned on suspected individuals following false claims surrounding the alleged disappearance of male private parts. The attacks, which occurred between 8th and 10th May 2026, have raised concern among authorities and rights groups who describe the incidents as tragic acts of mob justice fueled by fear, rumors, and misinformation. The development has also reignited debate on the dangers of unverified information and the growing threat of mob violence in communities. In our exclusive report this week, Fales Chizombe takes a closer look at the situation in the Lower Shire and the growing calls for calm, civic awareness, and respect for the rule of law. Let's watch.
The Malawi Police Service has dismissed the allegations as baseless, confirming that both police investigations and medical authorities found no evidence to support the claims. Despite this, panic spread rapidly across communities, with unverified information circulating through word of mouth and social spaces, triggering violent reactions that claimed innocent lives. Police say more than 90 suspects have been arrested in connection with the violence, including individuals accused of inciting attacks by spreading false information. Over 300 police officers have since been deployed in the affected districts to restore calm and prevent further bloodshed. Incidents driven by myths and misinformation are not new in Malawi. In the past, similar fears linked to ritual beliefs and so-called anamapopa, bloodsuckers, have led to mob attacks, highlighting the persistent danger of misinformation in vulnerable communities. Human rights activist Unduli Makasungula has urged Malawians to respect the justice system and refrain from taking the law into their own hands. He warned that mob justice weakens legal institutions and threatens peace and security.
What is happening in the Lower Shire, it's a human rights concern. Every human rights defender will be concerned. It's disturbing, unacceptable, and must be strongly condemned. This is mob justice illegal and violates the right to life, and it violates the right of every individual, actually. No one had authority to take the law in their own hands.
Evangelical Association of Malawi Commissioner Ivan Mbwana also called for a return to moral and spiritual values, citing biblical teachings that promote love, peace, and respect for human life. He emphasized the importance of both divine and public laws in maintaining order and urged citizens to abide by them.
It is sad that a community in the Lower Shire can reach this far, to reach an extent of killing some people on allegations. As a church, we encourage our members to abide by the word of God. The Bible is very clear, but there must be multiple witnesses. If you look at this case, it is very clear that nobody had any evidence of any kind, but people went ahead to kill people on suspicion. We encourage people, whenever they have issues that they cannot resolve, to sit down and find a lasting solution.
On the government's response, Minister of Gender Marina Vicha says authorities are working across sectors to strengthen community protection systems, particularly for vulnerable groups often targeted during such incidents. Her ministry is engaging traditional leaders and local councils to develop bylaws aimed at preventing violence and promoting safety.
The killing of people in Chikwawa and the killing of other persons in Mzimba is very unfortunate, and we are very disappointed. And as a ministry, we'll continue working together with our colleagues in the Ministry of Homeland Security, Ministry of Justice, and Ministry of Local Government, ensuring that other persons and all people are fully protected. You know, these rumors are just created by some people who can just wake up and say, someone is taking away my private purse. So this is very concerned, and we are very, very concerned.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri has called on traditional leaders in Nsanje and Chikwawa to take a leading role in maintaining peace. After joining a police awareness parade in the Lower Shire, he stressed the dangers of misinformation and urged communities to verify information before acting.
Malawians, we are known globally as the warm heart of Africa because we've been a peaceful people. The culture of destroying lives, the culture of malice has not been part of us. This is a new trend, and we condemn it to the strongest term. The president will not accept, not even one, to misinform the nation. We know that there have been wars in different countries because of misinformation, and we cannot allow to sell our only capital, which is peace in Malawi, because of one stupid person who just woke up one day and decided to speculate.
Tradition Authority Representative Chief Masaya of Chikwawa has also cautioned communities against believing myths and fictional narratives, stressing the need to report concerns through proper channels. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police for the Southeast Region, Frankie Kumukumu, has issued a stern warning that all those involved in the violence, whether directly or indirectly, will face the full force of the law.
Right now, we can confidently say that for the past 72 hours or so, we haven't registered any case. Either somebody claiming that their private parts are missing or any cases of mob justice. So the interventions that we are doing, patrols, ambushes to arrest suspects, bearing fruit. And we have informants all over in Nsanje and Chikwawa. They are giving us information. We are getting new information almost each and every minute. and the moment we get the information, we are acting on it. Right now, we have arrested more than 90. The arrests are continuing, so the figure keeps on changing. But right now, I think we are over 90, and some we are still processing, but the majority of them we have already processed and remanded them in custody.
As authorities intensify efforts to restore calm, the situation in the Lower Shire serves as a stark reminder of how quickly misinformation can turn deadly. Experts warn that without sustained civic education, community engagement, and trust in formal justice systems, such incidents risks recurring. For now, leaders across sectors are united in one message: communities must reject mob justice, remain calm, and rely on verified information and law processes to resolve fears and disputes.
Welcome back from our special report. Next up is the weather update brought to you by the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services, presented by Charity Mapondo.
Good evening and welcome. It's time for weather update. Kia and Dedza reported the lowest minimum temperatures of about 13 degrees Celsius, Chitedze 14 degrees Celsius, but Kasongo Vumbwe and Chichiri reported about 17 degrees Celsius. We should expect windy and partly cloudy conditions accompanied by isolated showers over the country. Foggy conditions also expected mainly over highlands and in valley areas. Mwera winds are expected to continue blowing over our water bodies, therefore all users are advised to be very observant. These conditions are due to the influence of southeasterly air mass from the Indian Ocean into our country. Therefore, tonight expect windy and partly cloudy conditions over most areas, but tomorrow morning cold to mild conditions are expected over the country. Lilongwe and surrounding areas are expected to reach a minimum temperature of about 12 degrees Celsius, 16 over Nzuzu and Blantyre, but Ngabo will reach about 21 degrees Celsius. Expect windy and partly cloudy conditions with some showers over few areas such as Blantyre, Balaka, as well as Nzuzu. In the afternoon, expect warm to hot conditions over the country. Nzuzu is expected to reach a maximum temperature of about 24 degrees Celsius, 25 over Lilongwe, as well as Blantyre, but in Sanje will reach about 31 degrees Celsius. The same afternoon, expect windy and partly cloudy to cloudy conditions over the southern part of the country, but for the central part, we should expect windy and partly cloudy conditions accompanied by isolated showers. On Sunday, expect windy and partly cloudy conditions with showers over some few areas such as Mzuzu, Karonga, as well as Chitipa. Thanks for watching. I'm Charity Mapondo. Be wise.
With that item, we have also come to the end of our today's bulletin. But before I go, a reminder of our top stories.
Pope Leo XIV encourages ecumenical movement to proclaim Christ and build a new world of peace and unity. Good governance expert calls for depoliticization of national events after Kamuzu Day chaos in Lilongwe. Concerned citizens cite low inflation, maize prices as signs of economic recovery. And in our exclusive report this week, Fathers Chizombe reports on a wave of mob justice in Chikwawa and in Sanje that has left at least 8 people dead amid spreading misinformation over alleged disappearances of male private parts.
I am Adams Mwenelpembe. Thanks so much for keeping me company and continue enjoying the rest of our programs right here on Luntha TV. Have a lovely weekend.